Welcome to the English Audio Club. Today's story is about love, sadness, and a little bit of magic. Let's begin. A long time ago, there lived a man who had two wives. One day, his first wife became very sick. She knew she didn't have much time left, so she called her two sons and spoke to them with love. She said, "My dear children, I will leave this world very soon. Please say goodbye to me." The children were heartbroken and began to cry. They said, "Mother, what will happen to us when you are gone? Our stepmother doesn't like us. What if she doesn't give us food? What will we do?" Their mother smiled gently and said, "Don't be afraid, my sweet boys. If you are ever hungry, just go into the forest. Someone there will take care of you." And with those last loving words, she closed her eyes and passed away. The boys were very sad and cried for many days. After some time, they went to their stepmother and said politely, "Please give us something to eat. We are very hungry." But the stepmother was very cruel. She shouted at them, "Why should I feed you? I barely have enough food for my own children. Go away. I have nothing for you." The younger brother began to cry and said, "I am so hungry. I can't take it anymore." The older brother held his hand and whispered kindly, "Don't worry. Remember what our mother told us? Let's go to the forest." So the two brothers walked deep into the forest. After a long walk, they found a gentle and magical cow. This cow was very kind. Every day she gave the boys warm and tasty food. They were so happy and they never went hungry again. But their stepmother and stepsister noticed something strange. "How do you always have food?" they asked. "Why do you go into the forest every day?" They were very curious. One morning, the oldest stepsister said, "I am going to follow them today. I want to see where they are getting all this food." The next day, the two brothers tried to stop her. "Please don't come with us," they said. "You will just get tired and hungry. We don't do anything special. We just walk around because we miss our mother." But the girl kept asking again and again. Finally, the boys gave in and said, "All right, you can come with us." They walked deep into the woods. After a long journey, they reached the magical cow's home. The older brother didn't want the stepsister to know the cow. He wanted to keep it a secret. But the younger brother was very hungry and said, "Please, I can't wait anymore. Let's call the cow and eat." So they called the kind cow, and just like always, she came and gave them delicious food. The boys ate happily while the stepsister watched everything quietly. When they all returned home, the stepmother ran to her mother and shouted, "Mother, I know my brother's secret. There is a cow in the forest and she gave them food every single day." The next morning, the stepmother went to her husband and said, "Husband, I am going to have a baby soon. I need strong and healthy food so the baby can grow very well. So go to the forest and bring me the cow that feed your sons." The man was confused. "Which cow?" he asked. "We don't have any cow." His wife grew angry. "Don't lie to me. I know your secret. Your sons have a cow in the forest that gave them food. And I want that cow. Bring it to me now." The man didn't want to do it, but he had no choice. Sadly, he went into the forest and found the kind cow and brought her home. When he gave the cow to his wife, she said coldly, "Now kill it. I want to eat its meat to make my baby strong." The husband was shocked. He didn't want to hurt the cow. He tried to stop her, but she refused to listen. At last, with a heavy heart, he picked up a knife and tried to kill the cow. But something strange happened. The cow wouldn't die, no matter what he did. The kind cow just wouldn't die. Then the stepmother shouted, "If this cow doesn't die, I will kill your both children." The two boys heard her horrible words. With tears in their eyes, they said, "Let the cow die." And with those sad words, the kind and magical cow finally died. But the stepmother wasn't finished. She tried to take off the cow's skin, but it wouldn't come off. She screamed again, "If this skin doesn't come off, I will kill your both children." The boys, afraid again, and said, "Let the skin come off." And at once the skin came off easily. Next, the woman cut the meat and put it in a pot to cook over the fire. But the meat refused to cook. It just stayed raw, no matter how long she waited. She shouted again, "If this meat doesn't cook, I will kill your children." The frightened boys again whispered, "Let the meat cook." And the meat finally started cooking. When the meat was ready, she tried to lift the pot over the fire, but it was too heavy. Again she screamed, "If this pot doesn't come off, I will kill your children." And once more, the boy said softly, "Let the pot come off the fire." And just like that, the pot became light and easy to lift. The cruel woman ate the meat greedily, but the boys were filled with fear. "Our kind cow is gone, and now our stepmother also wants to kill us. We must escape before it's too late," they said. And that night, when everyone was sleeping, the two brothers ran away into the dark forest. But while running through the woods, they became separated. One went one way and other went another way. Many years passed. The brothers grew up, each living a different life. The younger brother went far away to a distant land, but the older brother stayed near the forest they once knew. One day, the older brother was walking near a village where he saw a girl. She was very beautiful. She was the daughter of the village chief. The chief had many daughters, but this one was the most beautiful of all. The older brother felt something deep in his heart. He was fallen in love. The young man and the chief's beautiful daughter began meeting in secret. They talked often, shared stories, and slowly they fell deeply in love. Around that time, a trouble came. A war broke out between nearby villages. Every night, under the cover of darkness, enemies attacked the village where the chief and his family lived. But each night, a brave stranger appeared to fight beside the chief and helping to protect the people. No one knew who he was. He would come quietly, fight bravely, and disappear before morning. The chief became very curious. He asked his friend, "Who is the mysterious warrior who helped us every night? I must find out who he is." His friend replied, "Ask your daughters. Maybe one of them knows him." So the chief called for a big meeting. Everyone in the village gathered. Then he turned to his daughters and said, "Bring your husband and lovers. I want to meet them all." The daughters came one by one, each with her husband or the man she loved. But the young man from the forest, the one who loved the chief's youngest and most beautiful daughter, was very sick. He had a small chicken pox. His face was covered with spots and his body was weak. He couldn't walk with the others, so he stayed far away and sat quietly with his head down. When the chief daughter saw him, her heart filled with love. She ran to him and held his hand tightly. The chief shouted in shock, "What are you doing? Stay away from that man. He had a small chicken pox." But the daughter held him even tighter and said bravely, "Father, this is a man who fight beside you every night. He is the one who saves the village. He may be sick now, but he is strong, kind, and brave. I love him and I want to marry him." The chief was very furious. He didn't want his daughter to marry a poor and sick man. He began to shout again, but something strange happened. Everyone in the crowd went silent. All eyes turned toward the chief. He asked, "What is it? Why are you all staring at me?" Someone whispered, "Your head, chief. Look at your head. It's growing and it's getting bigger." The chief touched his head. It was true. His head was swelling larger and larger. His daughter stepped forward. "Please, father, let me marry him," she begged. The people around him also started pleading. "Yes, chief, let her marry him. Please say yes." The chief was now frightened and confused, and finally he was agreed. And in that moment, his head stopped growing. Slowly it returned to its normal size. In the end, the young man and the chief daughter were married with joy and music. The whole village danced and sang, and from that day forward, they lived happily ever after. Thank you for listening to this magical story on English Audio Club. We hope you enjoyed it. If you love simple and beautiful stories in English, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. See you next time.